If you are constantly struggling to have enough volunteers in your ministry, this could be your problem. In order to grow and develop a healthy team, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is necessary for growth. So we have to learn this principle, and that is a strikeout today is worth a grand slam tomorrow. Hey, I'm Jeff, and I'm a worship ministry coach who helps leaders get from where they are to where God is leading them. I had to learn this lesson the hard way early in my ministry. It was one of those seasons where some of our key team members weren't as available, but our church had grown and kind of grown accustomed to the quality of worship that we could lead with their gifts in the mix. So as I looked at our options, I knew we had some pretty promising young talent up and coming, but they would take time and it would take energy to develop. I can still remember having a pretty hard discussion with my senior pastor, and he wasn't too fond of the idea of a dip in quality. However, he was a farmer, he was a leader. He understood very well that you can't just play your starting five all the time. You have to invest in your bench in order to become a championship team. So that's exactly what we did. One of the strongest team members we had was this incredible pianist and female lead vocal. She was obviously the hardest to reproduce because it was noticeable when she wasn't there. So, but I knew that in the wings we had this up-and-coming 7th grade boy who'd been playing Southern gospel tunes by ear since he was out of diapers. But there was certainly going to be a learning curve because it was a very different atmosphere playing with his family, in these Southern gospel settings versus transferring that information and that knowledge, that skill into the worship environment. So it took a lot of effort, a lot of weekends where I would get the look from my pastor. But before we knew it, there was no longer a noticeable difference. Everything was much healthier and just better altogether because we made the decision to take some strikeouts for the Grand Slam. That investment went on to pay dividends for the next decade as he was involved all through high school and even into his adulthood. Thus, that principle, a strikeout today is worth a Grand Slam tomorrow. So, great story, but how we live that out in our ministry today? We'll have a couple pointers here. One, don't be afraid to rest your A players. If your best people are always at bat, then no one else can ever take a swing. A healthy rotation keeps your best volunteers healthy, and it also gives room for your new best volunteers. Second, always be on the lookout for new potential. Sometimes you'll look around and you won't see anyone, and that there are just seasons where that's true. But God is always faithful. He always supplies our needs. You just have to persevere, keep praying, keep looking, and I promise you're going to find them. Once you find them, know how you're going to equip them, know how to invest in them, and set them up for upcoming success. Number 3, take some risks. The price of taking out your best at the time is the occasional strikeout. But if you're willing to roll the dice on some bumbles here and there for the payoff that comes when we invest in developing our team, it's going to pay off. I can't promise you a grand slam on every risk that you take, but I can assure you that more often than not, from my experience, the risk pays off in the end. So worship leaders, don't be afraid to take the risk. Take some strikeouts for the Grand Slam tomorrow. So if you found this helpful, please take the time, like and subscribe. You can find more resources like this at worshipministrycoach.com. My prayer is that these resources would help you get from where you are to where God's leading you. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.